Hello, hello, Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And are you sure? Okay, here we go. The birds are singing. Hi there. Hello. Gotta speak to the birds and the animals, you know? Hey. I'm out in the backyard because a lot of activity going on in the front yard. Out in the front. So I'm out here in the back. I'm going to share some truths with you, and God just told me to really give it to the individual or individuals that are so gung ho, so hell bent on trying to get me to react. They know that I know what they've been doing. I just heard the song by Dion Ferris, I Know What You're Doing. Listen to that song, and it's not gonna work this time. Listen to that song. Seriously. Um, has a lot of truth within that song, as well as many other songs. Um, I know what they're doing. I see what they're doing, and they're aware that I know what they're doing. So now they're being even more bold. They're, like I said yesterday in the video, they're, letting me know that it's them, you know? They're wanting me to see the drive-by. That was the other thing I was going to talk about yesterday in the video. They do drive-bys. So they stalk you with their vehicles. So, like, if you're leaving the house, if you're stepping outside, if you like to step outside and get nature or enjoy nature, the sun and whatnot, they'll drive by your house, drive by real fast, lots of noise, um, noise, irritants, noise pollution. That's why I want to say noise pollution, but they want to cause a lot of noise. They want to cause a lot of chaos. But I'm going to share with you some more truths as to what I have experienced, so that way you will know that I am not BSing you. I'm not BSing you. God has called me to speak. He has called me to talk on things that I've been through, my experiences, so that other people can be aware. As I said before, I am not one that likes to be on video. I'm not one that likes to do a lot of talking. I'm not one that is trying to be out in the light and whatnot. No, I'm just really chill and laid back until you piss me off, and then we're gonna have a problem. So I'm gonna speak on this right now. Growing up in my neighborhood, my father was a bully. He was a bully in the neighborhood. He was a frustrating individual. He had a lot of individuals, neighbors that he projected his insecurities and his negativities on. A lot of neighbors that we had, especially one individual, when we were a baby, he lived right next door to me, and I didn't meet him until we got to junior high. He used to be a neighbor, and he didn't express to me why they moved, but we did not become friends, you know? And I understood long time afterwards why that was. We did not become friends. It was because of my parents. Um, People that lived down the street from us that I made friends with and whatnot, it didn't always work out. A lot of the times they would move. And the reason why they would move was because of my parents. The energy, my parent had an energy of, I'm around even when I'm not around. I'm here even when I'm not here. And you need to fear me. You need to be scared of me. You don't know where I'm going to be. You don't know where I'm going to show up. But I could show up, or I could be there and catch you doing something, or see you doing something, and so on and so forth. He was a bully. My mother was also a bully and a tyrant. They were both basically, in a lot of ways, made for each other. They depended on each other. They got off together in more ways than one. They got off on manipulating not only my brother, my sister, and myself, and they eventually turned, I believe, my brother and my sister into being more like them in their attitude and their behavior and how they carry on. But they tried to get me to shift at an early age, and I caught my dad being manipulative in certain areas with certain individuals. Like, he would try to get me to fight, he would try to get me to argue, he would try to get me to get involved in certain things. He stole from me, he cheated me, he didn't give me information about life. He bragged a lot about how he and my mother bragged as well too about how they got their game and how they came up off of using credit cards. But they never gave me the game. They never gave me the information as far as how they did it. They never gave me facts about life and or the language of life. Shout out Everything But the Girl. They didn't tell me the language of life and how people could be out here in this world. They basically threw me to the fucking wolves. And they did so purposely because they did not see me as someone that they could use as far as to do evil, wicked stuff. They saw me as someone that they could use to pimp to other people to take advantage of. So relationships, friendships, work, job, connection, career, stuff of that nature. They basically pimped me out. That's the short and curlies of it. They pimped me out. My energy, my essence, my charm, my business expertise, knowledge, and so on and so forth. They did that. They did that purposely. And they allowed my siblings and family members to steal from me, as well as hurt me and abuse me and so on and so forth, as well as they themselves abused me and manipulated and were toxic towards me. So my parents, they moved from North Carolina, Charlotte to be exact, and they moved from that area. They moved to Houston. My dad was an insurance adjuster for a major corporation. Now, if you know insurance, and I'm just going to put this out there, as I said, God told me to tell it all, so I'm just going to speak and put it out there because there are people that today really wanted to provoke me and really wanted to push me and really wanted to cause some street theater and want to cause some chaos. So I'm going to speak on it. This parent of mine, insurance adjuster, but you know how you have chop shops? You know how you have independent shops, collision repair shops, so on and so forth? Well, a lot of those places, not all of them, but a lot of them get their parts from boosters, thieves, car thieves, boosters. You heard of people going around and taking this part off of a vehicle because it's really expensive to replace. Well, you'll have people that get involved in chop shops. You have people that get involved in stealing cars, stealing parts, so on and so forth, and then selling those to these shops for a reduced price, and that way they can make more profit. My father worked in the insurance adjuster. He was an insurance adjuster. He worked in the insurance business, so he knew a lot of the ins and the outs. He knew what he could do and what he could not do, but that does not mean that he was not doing things under the radar as well as illegally outside of his career. Being in that field and in that career allowed him access to a lot of information, a lot of knowledge and whatnot, that he could then go out into the world, go into the nefarious places, and then get people to do certain things. He stole, he did steal a vehicle from me. And the reason why he stole a vehicle, he gave me the vehicle so that I could have a car for work. And then he stole it back several months later. And then basically, I think he chopped it up, and or it was chopped up, or he did something with the VIN numbers or whatever to where someone maybe still in Houston could be riding around in that vehicle. But my brother opened his mouth and told me that it was in Mexico. So that let me know that he was using my brother to steal not only rims and tires, but he was using my brother to steal cars. My brother had a friend by the name of Dominique, and they would go out and do this stuff together. My brother would initiate other individuals into doing this with him, basically starting a little crew. And that's how my brother got involved in not only working on cars, because he had a knowledge of stealing cars, boosting cars, stealing tires, wheels, so on and so forth. This was implemented and or started by my own parent. But I couldn't be involved in that because I wasn't about that life. Now here's the deal. Could I have? Yes. I definitely could have. Did I have the expertise or the knowledge or the ability to do so? Yes. And my parent knew that. But they also knew I wasn't interested in doing that because I work for God. And when you try to annihilate God's children by putting them in certain situations that could get them caught up, so on and so forth, that's not a good look. So my father went about pimping me out in a different way. He pimped my brother out in one way, he went out pimping me out in a different way. One of the ways that he pimped me out, and I mentioned this before, was to my partner that I was with for 2 decades, 20 years. He pimped me out to this individual. Now, these are things my parents didn't even know that I picked up on or that I realized years ago. And I didn't say anything. Why didn't I say anything? Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Yeah, I know. But also, intuition. Knowing how they work, my brother and my father works. And knowing that he left North Carolina, a lot of the people, let me put it to you this way. When I was about 10, 11 years old, we went back to Charlotte, North Carolina to visit the relatives, right? We would go to various corner stores to get candy and beverages and stuff of that nature in the neighborhood where he grew up, which was Earl Village. Now, we went into a grocery store, a corner store, and the guy at the corner store asked us, y'all look very familiar. You look very familiar. Who's your daddy? Who's your dad? And we told him who our dad was. He said, "That's your dad?" He said his name like 2 times. So-and-so is your dad? That's your dad? Okay, ain't nobody gonna touch you. That's what this guy at the corner store said. Ain't nobody gonna touch us. So that's why we could travel around that area of town in Charlotte, North Carolina, which was Earl Village. Look it up. We can move around in that area of town without any trouble, without anybody causing us problems or trouble, because my dad was a tyrant. He was a terror in that area. I used to ask my dad, what did he do? How did he get his come up? How did he make his money in his teenage years? Because he had a child out of wedlock, and he had a child before he was 18 years old. And he was taking care of him, had a house, had 2 cars, so on and so forth. How did he get that? He would never share with me how he got what he got, how he got started. It was nefarious behavior. That's how he got started. But he tries to put on that he's this good, upstanding person, when I know in all actuality he's not. He's behind the scenes a toxic individual, just like my mother. Toxic individual. Now, I'm putting this out here because God told me to tell it all. I was laying down in bed. I was listening to some music, listening to some tunes on YouTube, and God said, I stepped outside, cars whizzing by, another car whizzed by, another neighbor down the street who's been stalking me again. Okay, God said, they want to play games? We're not playing games. Go and tell them more information about the family you grew up with, the household you grew up within, as well as how they treated you and how they tried to turn you into being like them. When they realized they were not going to be able to do that, they then decided to treat you and or turn you out in a different way, believing that you were going to, in the end, basically take yourself out, or somebody was going to take yourself out with HIV or an STD and or drug addiction or alcohol addiction. Because I came out to my father at 17. Here's another thing. I didn't want to tell my father at my house coming out to him. I took him to a restaurant. I took him to Subway to tell my father that I was homosexual. I also then informed him I was transitioning. I did that in a public space as well too, because I know his temper. I know his attitude. and possibly what he would have done. Instead of raging out, he decided to rage out behind the scenes in my life, disturbing my peace, my home life, turning neighbors against me, turning family against me, causing scenes within the church, turning church members against me, turning Mike, my partner, against me as well too. He tried to switch him up, tried to turn him against me as well too. Mike had a hard time doing it because I was taking care of him. I was looking after him. I was a good partner. I was a loving partner. Wasn't what he expected because my parents told him lies in the beginning for him to basically pimp me out to Mike. So they told him lies about me so that he would set me up to go in a certain direction, which other people that have either lived with him and or been in a relationship that have gone on. They all had some kind of life insurance policy on them. Yeah. You with me? I'm going to leave it at that for right now. But trust and believe, God is going to have me to share more information with you to let you know that you can go through a lot of things in life. People, your own family members can take you through a lot of crap in life, right? People that you love, people that say they love you, people that you care about, people that say they care about you, people that say they would never do anything to hurt you are the same ones that could end up stabbing you in the back and setting you up for failure, as well as setting you up to be taken out because of money, greed, power, and arrogance, as well as hatred, prejudice, and bigotry. I'm a witness. I'm a witness. I'm a testimony that you can make it out alive and you can make it with God, because the whole lot of it, God got me through it. And the whole lot of it, I didn't understand and or realize what was going on. It wasn't until years later that I started putting the dots together, started connecting the dots. And now these people are turning it up even more so because they know that the truth is coming out and they want to try to shut me up. And God is not going to have it. He's not going to allow it. He brought me here for a reason. I'm going to do what God has called me to do, whether people like it or not. I'm going to leave it at that. Gotta go.